Where are you from?
I'm from Brazil.
Cool.
Magazine named Super Interessante.
Ah, magazine.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks for having me, Woody.
Sure.
My first question is, I read you wanted to play an ape. You really wanted to play an ape, but they wouldn't let you. Why is that?
This was the part they had in mind for me, so I don't think there was ever really an option to play an ape, although that would be cool.
Did doing King Kong help you with this, or it was completely different?
With King Kong, we wanted to make him very much a silverback gorilla.
Okay.
Whereas with César, I always approached it like he was a human in an ape's skin, in the sense that he was brought up with human beings and apes who are brought up in captivity with human beings or raised domestically tend to reflect the person that they're with, their carer. So the approach was very much that César was always an outsider in a way. He wasn't comfortable in his own skin. Even when he went to live with his own kind and be with the other apes, it took him a while to work out who he was.
The story has from the beginning been about César, and this is about César's journey. And the films are all very different, but there's one constant, and that's César. And this story was the next leg of his journey. This is how he becomes the legend. He becomes a biblical character, almost like Moses. At the end of this story, you have him reaching a place where the other apes in the future will look back at him as the most important figure in early ape history. He's like almost like a god in that sense. He becomes the legend, the myth.
I imagine technology, motion capturing technology, has advanced a lot from when you started and now. So how did it change? What got really better? Can you tell me more about this?
Well, the actual basic technology hasn't changed an enormous amount. I mean, it's you're wearing a suit with markers on which send off a signal and are picked up by 360 degrees of cameras. You're wearing a head-mounted camera which captures all your facial expressions. That hasn't really changed in the last few years. But what has changed is the artists and the software that they use to create the characters afterwards. That has really radically improved. So, for instance, from Rise to War, you'll see a huge difference in the way that the performances of the actors are rendered with so much more fidelity.
What we do on set is exactly what you see. It's just we look like apes.
You just look different.
You know, when you see us next to a river and you see us hunched over and quadrupeding, that's what we're literally doing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We're never on a green screen. I thought that it would be very difficult on a different level. I thought that there would be all these things while shooting that would be foreign to me and hurdles that I'd have to get by in order to do the work that I was used to working, but it was total opposite that. It was like doing theater, really.
Did the movie change the way you see animals? And do you think it will change the way the audience sees animals?
I hope so. I hope that when the audiences, see these films, and particularly this last one, they realise how, well, two things. One, how important it is that we have respect for creatures other than ourselves, because our planet depends on it. And secondly, I think that apes we're so close to apes. We are so very, very close to apes now that we're beginning to laws are changing where you can't test on animals anymore, on apes anymore, and also it's becoming our awareness is much more complete about genetically how similar we are.
Well, I have tremendous empathy for animals. We share this planet with animals.
Yeah, I look at animals differently.
Do you?
Yeah, I really do.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't. Still kick my dogs. I don't kick my dogs. That would be horrible.
Okay, but did you get to interact with real apes?
No.
Okay.
No, I just studied like YouTube. I would just put chimpanzees on YouTube and watch every video, and was fascinated with the chimp that was just sitting there doing nothing.
We watched some video, things like that. I know that I can tell you that some of the actors, like Karen, who plays Maurice, she spent a lot of time with orangutans. And she started that on Rise because as an actor, she was like, how am I going to play Maurice? How am I going to play an orangutan? I don't know how to do that. And she created this bond with orangutans. There was an ape that she knew named Tawan, who has since passed. And she based her performance on this relationship. She would paint with them. They would paint back with her. Like, there was a whole relationship that she created with them.
In the real life, you were a big supporter of ethical consumerism, environment conservation, and all these sustainability-related issues. What was it like for you to incorporate an ape killer? Was it hard?
You got to find the humanity in the character. You know, you got to find that thing. He really thinks he's doing the right thing and that he's working to save humanity. Got a bit of a God complex. You know, just kind of got to look at it from his perspective.